Welcome everyone to another session of the Product Management View webinar series. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, product management professionals can pick up the latest in thought leadership, tips, and tricks. Lawson Abinanti is co-founder of Messages That Matter, a consulting firm that helps B2B software companies create compelling message strategies that build awareness and demand. Lawson is a professional journalist with 15 years of executive management experience in the software industry. He has been responsible for marketing, business development, and sales at several B2B software companies, including Navison, Applix, TM1 Software, and Timeline. On that, take it away, Lawson.
Thank you, James. I teach a positioning workshop called Effective Positioning, How to Talk So the Market Will Listen. This is excerpted from that. It's a very little sliver of the process that I teach, and we're going to be looking at the competitive side of positioning, and by the time we're done with this, hopefully you will believe that differentiation really can be made easy. If you haven't read the book Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind by Ries and Trout, I'd highly recommend it. It was written quite a long time ago, at least 20 years ago, and they lamented at that time, yet too many companies embark on marketing and advertising as if the competitor's position did not exist. They advertise their products in a vacuum and are disappointed when their messages fail to get through. So the goal today is pretty straightforward. When you're done, you're going to know for sure that you're making a unique marketing claim. Before I get into the details, let's go through the agenda. I'm going to go through a little bit of background about what I do know about differentiation. I'll define positioning and why it's important. Before we get into the real-world evaluation of the corporate performance management market, I'm going to have a couple of examples that will help you understand the way that I think about analyzing positioning strategies in advertising. And then we'll get into this real-world example of the CPM market, which is, for those of you who aren't familiar with an acronym, it's budgeting and financial reporting, basically. And I think if you all are in the software business, you'll be familiar with a number of the players that we're going to evaluate. They're fairly well-established quality companies. Just a little bit of background. James has already said that I'm a journalist by trade. I stumbled into the software business in the early 80s, and in the mid-90s I discovered positioning. I was in the process of working with a company called Timeline, who was introducing a new client-server product at that time. And we brought in a consultant named Barry Briggs, who eventually became my partner in forming this company. And Barry said, could you give me a couple of the ads of your competitors? And I said, well, what do you want those ads for? And he said, well, I'm going to go and take a look at them. I'm going to come back and tell you how they're positioned and whether there's some unclaimed space that we can claim for Timeline. And he came back a week later, and sure enough, the light went on for me. Aha, you evaluate advertisements and various marketing communications, and you can tell from the way that they're communicating how they're positioned or if they have a position. In some cases, they don't. After I left Timeline, I got involved in a small company called TM1, which is an OLAP product, and we had a nice fast run to get acquired by Applix. I worked with a number of well-known companies during that process, including Hyperion, Oracle, and several other BI OLAP products. My last real job was with Navision Software. I was director of product marketing for Navision, which is if you all are familiar with the ERP market, they're now owned by Microsoft, and they were the Great Plains of Europe. And when I inherited my position, I had about 10 really smart product managers who didn't know a lot about